Hi everyone, welcome to this phase of our program where we are going to learn new ways to take our health to a whole new level. My name is Alicia Stevens and I am going to be your guide through this portion of the program. I do want to forewarn you that this part of the program is going to be very educational based. I am not into just throwing out things to do and not informing you how and why this affects your body. I also do want to share that this is not something that you have to do in order to participate in this program. There are a lot of you who have done the programs a few times and want to learn new ways to deepen their results, make some new health goals happen, see some quick changes in their body. So those are for those who really want to go a few levels deeper into exploring what their bodies can do for them in health. So I'm going to walk you through a presentation with this. Feel free to pop this on as you're cooking dinner or you're in a long car commute. You don't necessarily have to see the slides to listen in and take mental notes. But I do suggest that you really do take some of this information to heart, especially if this is something that you're going to try out, because it really is important that you have a foundation as to why this works in the body. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this. The first thing I want to share with you guys is that getting healthier is very similar to peeling back layers of the onion. In fact, anything in life is, right? So if we're going after something and it's a big goal, we can't just go from 0 to 60 overnight. It's going to take several small steps. It's going to take experimentation. It's going to take time. And it's kind of like peeling back an onion of a layer, one layer at a time. So this picture represents what we all want to get out of our health, and that is optimal health. We want to look good. We want to feel good. And so there in the middle, there is that heart. That's kind of where we're aiming for. We're aiming for feeling really good in all of those areas. But it's going to take some time and it's going to take some work. Now, what you're doing right now in your program with this cleanse is already peeling back a whole layer. We are detoxifying the system, we are cleansing the system, we are regenerating new good bacteria in the system, new cellular changes and turnover. So that in itself is a whole layer of getting, into better and deeper health. So if you are content with that and you really don't want to push it further than that, that's okay. You can save this information for later. You can try this a little bit. You can do whatever it is that you want to do with this. But if you're someone who wants to go deeper than a layer and you want to maybe peel back another 2 or 3, or you've done this program a few times and you really want to get past that plateau of where you hit, I want you to be open-minded and I want you to listen in and I want you to give this a try. So my biggest thing as a health and nutrition coach is that I want all of us to stop beating ourselves up when it comes to food and dieting. We really have to stop doing this. And I am totally guilty of this probably my entire life up until about a year ago. So number one, we're going to stop beating ourselves up. It's not healthy. It's not good for our body. It's stressful. And it does crazy things to our body that makes it very unhealthy. We also tend to burn out our metabolism. We burn out our adrenals, our stress reaction in our body. That should not be burned out. We need that for when we need to react to stress and not feel like we're in stress mode all the time. We shouldn't have to worry so much about what we eat. We should be able to enjoy splurging from time to time. We want to stop feeling like crap and feeling stressed out about what it takes to be healthy. In fact, most people avoid getting healthy because they think it's so stressful and so much work. And a lot of times it can be. So how can we do all of this with one method? And that's what I'm going to share with you today. So if your goals are to lose weight, feel better, look better, improve your gut health, stress less, improve your adrenal fatigue, sleep better, that's who this is for, okay? Anyone who wants to improve those areas, including those who have chronic inflammation, aches and pains, autoimmune diseases, things like that, we can help you here. We are going to tackle this with one method that I'm going to share with you in addition to what we're already doing in our cleanse program. So what if there was one way that you could reset your body with activating one thing and still enjoy the finer things in life, like chocolates and wines and occasional eating out and splurging? What if there was one thing that you could do that would activate you to be able to do all of that? Would you be open to trying that? What if you could lose weight and keep it off, stop the yo-yo dieting, losing weight and then putting it back on the next week, stop cravings for silly things that you know doesn't serve you, improve autoimmune conditions, cleanse and detox your body on a deeper level, improve thyroid numbers, type 2 diabetes, balance out those blood sugars, improve your PMS symptoms, those hormonal imbalances, improve your sleep, stress? How does any of that sound to you? Could go even deeper with improving your memory. Are those who have Alzheimer's, or maybe you've had a concussion, brain injuries, or digestive disorders? Maybe your digestion is never good. Maybe it's always off. Maybe you're constipated all the time, or maybe you have IBS. What if you could eat a more diverse diet? What if it wasn't really about being a ketogenic eater or a paleo eater or a vegan or a vegetarian or a caveman diet? What if it wasn't really about just that one diet? So traditional methods in usually losing weight or getting healthier, or something that generally a doctor is going to put you on, or a registered dietitian, is a strict diet and exercise. And oftentimes, things like cleansing regularly will be recommended. But if you are only doing those things, the typical outcome is you're going to get temporary results. And sometimes you actually can create additional issues, like your metabolism slowing down or your thyroid going out, or gaining the weight back, because we are kind of going back and forth. It's not really realistic to stay on a strict diet or exercise hardcore all the time and be cleansing all the time and eat perfect all the time. And so then we do it all and we give up, and then the issues come back. And sometimes they come back even more intense because your body's so stressed out and tired. Hopefully this is making sense to you, but this was me pretty much my whole life. I do the low-fat diet, lose some weight, eat something regular again, gain it back, feel even heavier, would have breakouts, would feel stressed out all the time, didn't know what to eat, or I'd starve myself and then I'd pig out like crazy. And it's just not a healthy way to be. Now, many cons of doing this sort of diet is, it's pretty long list. So what you're doing to yourself when you're doing the restricted calories and the exercise programs together is that you're reducing your metabolic rate. You cannot out-exercise a poor diet. So I know I'm just as guilty as anyone. I used to think, yeah, I can go have that big old burger and fries and shake, and then I'm just going to go on the elliptical for 2 hours and I'll burn it off. That's not how it works. When you do these restricted diets and you are exercising like crazy, you are actually creating inflammation in the body, which then creates extra fat storage as your calories are consumed. So you are actually making your body hold on to more toxins and more of the crud than releasing it. It's actually not releasing it, because that inflammation, your body's saying, uh-oh, something's wrong. And it actually goes and it tries to hold on to it, storing all that stuff in your body so that it's not released. It thinks it's kind of like a toxin or a danger, and so it actually stores it and protects it from being released in the body. Also, people are using a lot of unnecessary supplements, a lot of synthetic vitamins, shakes, things that have, things that aren't really good for them. And these are actually causing many, many health issues. So it's really important to know that there's more to life than just watching your calories and exercising out that burger you had the night before. We want to teach you new ways to enjoy that burger, still burn it off, and not create issues in your body, but actually get your body to release it naturally, burn it off naturally, and have you feeling good again. So I know a lot of you are probably familiar with The Biggest Loser show, and you can check out this link if you want to. I'm not going to go into it too deep. But the sad part of it is that most of these people who did these programs and did these intense diets and worked out like crazy actually ended up being in way worse health than before. Some of them gained a ton of weight back. Some of them had major aches and pains. They couldn't eat normal again. There was a lot of not so good results after The Biggest Loser that nobody ever really shows you. So if that's something that you're curious about, I definitely suggest you check out this link. So now I want to talk to you guys about a new concept about food timing and how to reset your body. Now I know there's a lot of fads out right now with the ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting. Let's see, what else is there? Obviously paleo, Whole30, things like that. And those are all great, okay? So this is more of a tool than a particular one-way program. And this tool is all about food timing and fasting. So you could call it intermittent fasting. I just call it food timing because it's really about when you eat and when your body actually needs fuel versus, trying out some program and sticking to something that's, not realistic. This to me is the most realistic tool that I have ever discovered, next to using essential oils, using natural supplements and foods to regain new levels of health. In fact, I feel like this tool can put health, getting healthier in an easier way, right back on the map. So a really great tool that everybody should at least be aware of. So what we're going to talk about in the next probably 15 minutes or so is about hydration and food timing. And I am going to forewarn you right now that this tool will not work unless you are a hydrated person. So if you do not enjoy drinking water, if you do not enjoy, drinking clear liquids, not talking about wine, not talking about beer, not talking about juices, but like, teas, water, you can, flavor them with, fruits and things. But if you're not someone who's into that, this is not a tool for you. This tool doesn't work so good when you're dehydrated, just like our cleanse will not work good. So really important, I'll harp on that just a little bit more in a bit, but really important you understand that this tool will not work without hydration. So what is food timing? Why does this work? Okay, so food timing is not a diet, as I mentioned, or calorie counting. This is a tool that you can use to implement into either your health goals, your daily lifestyle, as a temporary program, whatever you choose to do. I use this tool every day of my life. I will use this tool probably till the day I die. It is an amazing, amazing tool. And what it does is it changes the pattern of when you eat. So as I mentioned in our program, what you eat matters, but that's to an extent. When you eat is actually very, very important as well. So food timing is to be the most important factor in weight loss and overall health and mind improvement. There is so much science in what food timing or intermittent fasting can do for your body. So when we eat something, this actually triggers two very powerful hormones in your body. Okay, the first hormone is insulin. And we're going to get a little techie here, so bear with me for just a minute. Insulin is produced every single time you eat. Okay? The problem is that our bodies over time start to create too much insulin, and therefore your body will not lose the weight or let go of it because your insulin is too high. It is too built up in your body. So how do you know if you have too much insulin? There's a few ways. Those who have big bellies, those who have blood sugar issues, those who have autoimmune, those who have a lot of inflammation, those are common signs of too much insulin in the body. You may not even be overweight or be big in the middle, but you have some of those other symptoms, and that is often a sign of too much insulin. This was me my entire life, okay, up until a year ago. I kid you not. Now, the second powerful hormone that is released in your body is growth hormone. And growth hormone is actually what triggers that anti-aging, cellular regeneration, repair, creates lean muscle in the body. Growth hormone cannot, though, naturally activate when there is too much insulin in the body. So if you're way too high in insulin, this growth hormone cannot come in and do its job. So when we talk about food timing, what that means is that it's a period of time where you simply don't eat for a while. So when you are sleeping, when you go to bed and have your last meal of the day, and then you go to bed and you enter into a state of sleep for probably, hopefully at least 8 hours, there's a block of time that you've slept and have not eaten anything. What actually happens is that your body goes into some important repair modes and detoxification modes. It starts to make cleansing happen, digestion happen, your cells go to work to repair what's off. So some really, really cool things happen during that state of sleep. Now, what they've discovered over time is that we can actually tap into that same process while we're asleep. While we're awake, we can continue that process by not consuming foods. Now, this isn't to tell you that you're going to starve or that you can't eat anymore. This is not what it's about, so just hang tight. But what happens when you go into that fasting state is that your body actually will start to drop some of those insulin levels significantly, which then creates fat burning. It also will increase human growth hormone, which then can let you burn more fat, create more muscle. It triggers the anti-aging in your system. It does a lot of amazing things for staying youthful and young. It also does cellular repair, so the body can start to remove waste from cells, anything that's damaged, and it actually can help protect your body from disease, whereas if you have certain genes that are turned on, that maybe you have the autoimmune disease gene for Hashimoto's, what this allows it to do is actually start to help turn some of that gene expression back off. It is an amazing, amazing tool. So this kind of gives you an idea in this picture here of what can happen as you are increasing that period of fasting and decreasing those things that you don't need in your body. So really, really powerful stuff here, my friends. So if you've ever felt stuck in your health or your weight loss, I really want you to consider giving this a try. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest, and I'll share my story in a minute. When I first learned about this, and I had heard about this probably about 100 times, I said, there's no way. This is not healthy. This is not good for you. I need food to be able to think, to function, yada, yada, yada. And wow, when I gave it a try, I realized how closed-minded I had been, how wrong I had been, and how much research I had been missing. So if you're feeling like that, hearing this right now, totally with you, totally okay. Just keep an open mind and hear me out. So insulin resistance, that hormone that we do not need, that we create too much of, this is kind of the little nasty little cycle of it. So we eat foods, mostly foods that don't really serve us well, but it can happen from healthy foods too if you're not able to digest and process those properly. So you eat foods, you make insulin, and your cells resist the insulin. And so then what happens is that you start to store any of those sugars, those carbohydrates, those grains, refined sugar. Even if you're eating too much fructose sugar, your body will store that as fat. It will store it in the midsection. It will store it in your organs. If you've heard of a fatty liver before, it will cause digestive issues. It will cause hormone issues. It will just trip up everything in your system. Then you are storing that, and then you're always feeling what? Tired and hungry. And then you eat food, and it happens again. And the cycle continues on and on and on. And it really is crazy because we keep thinking that we're doing something wrong. We keep thinking that we need to, shape up or get more motivation to be healthier, when in fact we can have all those things and we still can't stop this cycle unless we reduce that hormone of insulin in our body. So some other signs of too much insulin in the body: fatty stomach, liver conditions, gastro issues, if you're having a lot of cravings for carbs, sugar, if you need carbs or sugar to get energy, if you have elevated blood sugars or even low blood sugars, feeling shaky or angry without food, you're hangry. This was me my whole life. Those who have acne or large pores on face, that oftentimes is a sign. Hormonal imbalances, PCOS, fertility issues, facial hair on women, it's a sign of too much insulin. Hair loss, maybe your hair is thinning and you're perfectly normal, healthy, female, that can be a sign of too much insulin. Skin tags is also a common sign. High blood pressure, adrenal fatigue, swollen ankles or body parts. If you swell really easily, this is a sign. If you're an emotional wreck, you're all over the place, you're high-low, you're super moody, you always claim it's the hormones, this is a sign. And what you got to be careful of is if you ignore these things for too long, it's almost like a recipe for leading to type 2 diabetes. It's really, really important that you don't let these things go unnoticed for too long. So how do we decrease our insulin levels to produce this phenomenal natural growth hormone that our body really wants to make? How can we do this to, lose weight, feel better, have more energy, and be healthier overall? So we're going to bust out a few myths before we go into what you're going to do. Now, at this point, if you can, grab a piece of paper or maybe a computer pad so you can type out some notes, because I'm going to give you some tips to be able to do this very shortly. Or if you have a camera, you can maybe take a picture of the screen. But this is a point where if you're driving or something, you can listen, but you might want to re-listen to this part so that you can know more about how to utilize this tool. But before we do that, let's bust out some health myths. So myth number 1, eating 3 meals a day and 2 snacks a day is the best way to lose weight or improve your health. Oh my gosh, this was me. I needed to eat every 2 hours, make sure my blood sugar stayed steady. This is how I was going to feel good. Well, guess who was still hungry? Guess who was tired? And guess who could not get rid of the weight even though I ate healthy foods? The truth is that every time we eat, no matter if it's really good stuff or not, we release insulin. So if we're releasing insulin every 2 hours all day long, we will eventually feel and see those effects. So what we actually want to do is minimize snacking or grazing habits, okay? Stay with me. I know I might be losing you now, but I promise there's good stuff ahead. Myth number 2, calorie restriction is necessary to lose weight. The truth of this is that, yeah, temporarily this will work, but in the long run, you're not going to be able to maintain it. You're going to increase your hunger cues. You're going to slow down your resting metabolism, and you're going to end up gaining more weight. So this is not about counting calories or restricting yourself to calories. Throw that rule of thumb or whatever you've learned in the past from Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, whatever it is that you've done, throw it out the window. We're not doing this anymore. It's not good for you. Why this other method works, okay? So this method works because we are not just focused on one way. We are not just focused on the diet. We're not just focused on the losing weight. We're not just focused on one thing, okay? We're regenerating everything in the body when we use this tool. Everything. We're regenerating your body, your cells, your stem cells, everything to make new. This is the only way that we can do this in our bodies with food timing. You're going to improve your immune system. You're going to let your body's natural ability go to work. So if you've ever heard the term starve a cold, if you get a cold or you feel something coming on, a lot of people will tend to start eating a bunch of things, try to get less energy. Actually, it's really opposite. You actually should not be feeding that cold because it actually creates too much work for the body to send blood there to break it down instead of doing its job to repair what was already off. So this can help you improve your immune system. It's also going to help you burn the storage of the insulin that you may have built up to produce that HGH again. It's going to teach your body to not use glucose, sugars, carbs for energy. Oh my gosh, this was a game changer for me. I ate so healthy and 3 o'clock would come and I'd have zero energy. I could not understand why I was so tired. I slept well, I ate well, I exercised, I did all the right things, yet my body was still relying on glucose. I had too much insulin built up and I needed a pick-me-up every day at 3 o'clock. So if that's you, you're gonna love this. It's gonna help you lose weight, improve energy. It's going to help you reduce stress and inflammation in the body and mind. It's going to help you balance hormones, correct your digestion concerns, take some major pressure, major stress off that liver and organs. You don't have to be so restrictive or controlling on what you eat, and you have more control with what you want to do, when you want to cheat, when you want to go out. It's pretty amazing stuff. So before I show you how to do this, I want you to be really clear on there are some people this is not for. So those who are pregnant or lactating should not do this because you don't want to mess up what you've got going on in your body system. You don't need to be regenerating new things or cutting things out right now. It is not for type 1 diabetics necessarily unless they are using like an endocrinologist or somebody that is well, versed in this, but otherwise please do not do this if you are a diabetic. If you have food issues, eating disorders or emotional eaters, this has been helpful for some, but I just with a word of caution, be careful with that. Just because this isn't about restricting yourself from having things. This is just more about the timing of when you have things. Those with, a delicate heart or, heart issues definitely do not want to be experimenting with this. As always check with your doctor before trying anything new. Any questions, concerns can be addressed with them. If you have questions for me, feel free, but no, I am not a doctor. I cannot give medical advice, but I am just showing you a tool that has been so tremendous for myself and clients, as well as hundreds, thousands of people out there who have been using this. So the first step to start using this tool, okay, here's where you want to start taking notes. The first step is hydration. And with that, I'm going to have a sip of water. As I mentioned before, do not, my friends, even attempt this without drinking enough water. You can drink water, you can drink green tea, you can add lemons, lemon oil, sea salt, but these are going to kind of be the foundation of what you're going to be drinking throughout the day, and this will not work without it. You don't necessarily have to have the green tea, but you must be drinking water. The hydration is super important because your cells need nourishment to perform basic functions in the body. So if you're coming all in to regenerate your body system and, trigger some HGH to, be produced in your body and move that insulin out, how the heck is it going to do that if there is not something nourishing those cells and hydrating those cells to work? It just can't happen. Hydration is also going to combat fatigue, feeling tired. It can help reduce high blood pressure. It helps with your digestion. It flushes out unwanted bacteria from the body. Dehydration is also a huge contributing factor to autoimmunes. I don't know if you know that, but a lot of people that I talk to that have autoimmunes have never enjoyed drinking water, never drink it. So a huge contributing factor to that, because the body can't go to work without proper hydration. And the last thing that I didn't put here, but I think is the most important about hydration, is that oftentimes we think we're hungry and we need to eat. We're actually just dehydrated. You get shaky, you feeling lethargic. That's not because you're hungry, friends. That's because your body is dehydrated. And so if you're someone who drinks water all day and you still feel like that, you need to be adding that sea salt. You need to be adding that vitamin C, those lemons, those limes to the water, and that is going to get that water into your cells. If you are to that point and so dehydrated, there's a good chance something's a little off in your body. I'm not trying to signal alarm bells, but there's a good chance that something's off, and you need to make sure that you are hydrating properly, using those minerals, using that salt, using that vitamin C so that it can get into the system, and also taking in a good level of potassium. So hydration is often mistaken for hunger. So huge, huge piece to this. How much water? I don't really have a huge rule of thumb. I think everybody's different, but I want you to make sure that you wake up and you're drinking a good amount of water. If you're not a huge water person, you can dilute some green tea and sip on that hot or cold throughout the day, but make sure you're getting something in. I do suggest every single person who's going to try this tool adds salt and lemon or limes or grapefruit to your water throughout the day. I wake up and I drink a large glass of water with sea salt and lemon. I will have another one later in the morning. I have one probably 2 more times throughout the day. That's not how I drink all my water. Not all my water has that, but I have that, and that makes such a difference for me feeling like I'm dehydrated. It quenches my thirst. It keeps me feel steady. It keeps me energized, keeps my skin looking nicer, a lot of great things to that. So make sure that you're doing that. And if you are overdoing it, you're going to know because you're going to the bathroom like every hour. So that means you can probably cut back a little. But the goal is to make sure that you're urinating, every few hours, and it's clear, and that your digestion is key, and that you're not feeling thirsty. So really kind of important guidelines for you on that. The next piece to this is that you are going to make some decisions here, folks, based on what is best for you. So how many meals and snacks do you consume a day now? I want you to maybe jot down on a piece of paper what your typical day looks like when it comes to food and grazing on foods. Do you wake up and have food? Do you then have a mid-morning snack? Then do you have lunch? Then do you have another snack? And then you have dinner, and then maybe you have dessert. I want you to map out what it looks like right now for you. This isn't to say you're doing it all wrong. This is to give you a starting point so you know how to start using this tool and where to begin. The next thing you have to decide is, are you willing to stretch yourself a bit to see where to start with this? So, maybe it's simply going from, hey, I'm going to, stop eating my dinner at 7 p.m. I have my last meal, and I'm not going to, eat right when I wake up. Maybe I'm going to wait a few hours. Or maybe it's, hey, instead of having, 3 meals and 2 snacks a day, maybe it's cutting out the 2 snacks and seeing if I can just eat 3 meals. Doesn't really matter where you start. I will give you some tools for kind of what's easier, but the fact of the matter is you want to start with where you are and try to cut back a little bit on when and how often you're eating. So if you eat 5 meals a day, my suggestion is simply start tomorrow with 3 meals a day. Try to eat as many of the healthy foods we've recommended so far, but your biggest concern is not so much on eating perfect as it is on just having 3 meals a day with no snacks. If you feel like this is really hard and you really need snacks, what you want to do is you make sure that you're adding more good fat to each meal. So if you are someone that has to snack, either add more good fats to your meals like avocado, olives, nuts, nut butter, good butters, olive oil, add more of that. Or if you feel like you really need a snack, just choose something small like 100 calories, a handful of nuts, some veggie sticks, an apple, something like that, okay? Now, if you don't eat those 5 mini meals a day and you're someone who eats 3 meals a day, it's maybe starting your first meal later in the day. Starting your first meal to carry your fasting window over longer. So let's say, again, you stopped eating at 7 o'clock the night before, you wake up at 6 a.m., you generally, drink your water, maybe you have a cup of coffee, and then you kind of force feed yourself some breakfast because you know you're going to be hungry. Maybe instead of having that breakfast, if you're not truly hungry, just keep drinking water and see how long it is until you're actually truly hungry that morning. Now, some of us think we're hungry, but again, we're actually dehydrated. So what I suggest you do is kind of do a little experimenting and just see how long you can increase your fasting window. So if your natural fasting window at night is, maybe 8, 9, 10 hours, maybe see if you can stretch it to 12 hours. What you want to do is just kind of see when it is that your body is actually really hungry, and then start your first meal. That's when you'll, start consuming foods. That's when your body's clock will start to kind of turn on to then start to activate, getting the nutrients in when you take your supplements and whatnot. That's going to kind of be an important window for you to be mindful of when you start and when you're actually hungry. I personally found that I was consuming too much too often. And what I found is that I've always had sluggish digestion. I've been like that since a little girl. It is definitely a lot better through the foods and supplements that I use. But one thing that I was not able to really nip in the bud 100% without using some sort of, coffee or stimulant was that tired feeling in the afternoon. And what I came to discover is that I was force feeding myself breakfast even though I was not hungry. So in the morning I'd wake up, I'd have water, I'd have tea or coffee, and then I'd make myself eat something because it was the right thing to do. I would have a juice, I'd have a, protein smoothie, I would make eggs and bacon, but I wasn't actually really hungry. I've actually never really loved breakfast, to be honest. So then I would have that and I'd be starving by the time I got to lunch because my body was working so hard to break all that food down and go to work, and it sends all the blood to my stomach to start to go to work. So then my stomach feels hungry come lunchtime, and so then I eat again, and my body's working really hard to break all that food down. And then come 3 hours later, I'm starving and lethargic again. And it's like, I ate 2 meals. Why am I starving? I know my metabolism's not that fast. It's not like I went and ran, 10 miles. So why is it that I'm so hungry and tired? And what I discovered for me was that I was consuming too much food in the wrong windows so that my body couldn't actually break down what it had consumed. And so I was constantly relying on that, the carbs and the glucose for energy to make it to the next meal. Meanwhile, my body's working so hard to break it all down, making me feel tired. And it was that vicious cycle that I told you about. So for me, the easiest way to approach this was I will start my first meal when I'm truly, truly hungry each and every day. So what that looked like for me was the first time I did it, I actually went as long as I possibly could. I think I ate my first meal at like 2:00 in the afternoon, and that's not what I'm suggesting you do, but I was desperate to feel better fast. So I made sure that when I decided to do this, I had a lot of water, a lot of green tea. I knew I could skip breakfast. I didn't think I could skip lunch. But I made sure I drank a lot of green tea and water. I did have my morning coffee with a scoop of collagen that did not send me out of that fasting state. And then I began my first meal, I think at about 2:00. I ate that meal and then I ate a small dinner. And I surprisingly felt pretty darn good. I didn't get the bloat from my meal. I did not get tired at all that day. In fact, I could think clearer. I had more energy. It was kind of mind-boggling. Like, why am I not so tired when I have not eaten? And I realized my body took some time to break down the foods, and it wasn't being able to use that as energy or fuel because I kept adding in more and more and relying on that sugary carbs or the quick fix juice or the green juice and things to pick me back up again. So that's kind of my story for you on that. Now, you might be feeling a little lost right now. You might be feeling a little overwhelmed, and I just want you to know it's okay. I did too. In fact, I had to read and listen and watch and have a consultation with somebody. I probably invested in like 15 hours before I would even attempt this. So if you're feeling like, I get it, okay? All I want you to focus in on is trying to reduce the window of when you eat. I don't want you to reduce how much you eat, okay? Calorie consumption can be exactly the same. The goal is to eat more in a shorter window of time versus stretched out all day long. If you can increase your fasting time when you wake up to increase your body's natural ability to regenerate itself, you're going to see and feel results fast. My clients who do this, who have a good amount of weight to lose, will see pounds fall off very, very quickly. They will feel energy go through the roof very, very quickly. Within a week, sometimes they lose 5 pounds, and you might be thinking, oh my gosh, that's not healthy, it's water weight. They're actually consuming the same amount of calories. They're just using it in a time window when their body actually can burn it as fat rather than relying on that sugar to keep it going. So your goal is maybe to start with an 8-hour fast if that's something that is a little stretch for you, or you could do a 10-hour, you could do a 12, and you can do it a few times a week. You could do it once a week, you could do it daily. It's really up to you. My suggestion is to probably start with 5 days a week and then maybe take the weekends off and see how you do. So my personal routine, I'll share with you in just a minute, I kind of play with it here and there. I love it because I just listen to my body's cues. If I'm hungry, I eat. If I, ate a ton the night before and, went out to our favorite restaurant, the Flying Pig, and, had fries and the whole 9 yards and wine and steak, and then we went to Cold Stone, I don't care. I splurged a little, and the next day my body is still using that as fuel and burning through it. I don't usually have to eat until 2 o'clock. That's pretty amazing. So you'll find that you just have to really start to be in tune with your body and just stretch that window out and just start somewhere, and then you can gradually increase it if you choose. Now, if you want to start this sooner than later, you can take a picture of this or you can take notes. This is what I suggest that you do for best results and easiest results. We want to keep this simple, right? We don't want to make this super hard on ourselves. So first things first, you're going to make a batch of green tea if you like green tea and stick it in the fridge. I make a really diluted batch of green tea, especially when I first started this, organic, of course, because it's a great way to get some antioxidants into your body. It helps curb hunger cravings, and overall, it's just good for you. So if you're somebody who feels like they're always hungry, this can be really helpful. Then you want to make sure you get yourself some magnesium. I am big on the sea salt. That's kind of like minerals. That is magnesium. But if you're going to try this and go all in, you want to get something like Doctor's Best. Take that morning and night. Really important that we're all using magnesium at some levels. That's why I'm always talking about the sea salt, detox baths. If that's not something that you incorporate, then just get yourself a supplement. I use all three methods. And we'll go into why magnesium a little bit more later, but super important for this. I want you to note the last time you ate dinner. So if you're going to attempt this tomorrow, you're going to note the last time you ate tonight and weigh yourself just for a starting baseline. Now, I am going to note that if you don't have weight to lose or you don't want to lose weight, you still can do this program. You just need to be mindful that it's going to be really important that you eat a lot of good fat, like a lot, and that you eat plenty in your window. So I lost a few pounds initially in this program. I didn't want to lose much more. I don't like when I lose too much weight because my face looks really like haggard and old. So I just make sure that I eat a ton of good fat. I pretty much eat what I want. I crave a lot of healthy foods, but just want to note that super, super important for those who don't really want to lose weight. You do want to lose weight, by all means, you're going to be able to do that in this program. When you wake up on the first day you try this, you're going to drink the 2 to 3 glasses of water with lemon and sea salt. You're going to take your Terrazyme, and you're going to not consume anything else. Okay, so nothing else for about 20 minutes. Then you can have 1 to 2 cups of black coffee or hot tea after your water. I really recommend that you get some collagen protein if you have it. If you don't have it, you can purchase it on Amazon. You are welcome to add a dash of full-fat creamer or milk to this, but do not use anything with, sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, or refined sugar, artificial sugars, any of that crap. So just want to kind of keep this really basic. I'm going to add some good fats because good fats don't generally mess with our blood sugar levels. And have 1 to 2 cups of your coffee or tea. I don't want you to do much more on the caffeine level. I want you to be really cautious on that because it does dehydrate us, okay? So that is kind of going to be what your morning looks like. After that, you're going to want to continue to hydrate with green tea or water, and just simply don't pop things into your mouth that are going to kind of turn on that activation of the insulin. The longer you don't put something in there, the more your body's going to reduce that insulin and increase that human growth hormone. And all you have to do is simply see how long it is before you get truly hungry, and then you eat. So if your goal is 12 hours, but you're starving, dying by 11 hours fast, just eat. We're not here to make ourselves be tortured. You can gradually start to increase it, but just eat when you truly are hungry. But I think most of you will be surprised, and most of you will find that when you're hydrated, you're actually not super hungry. I want you to note the timing of your first meal. So if you eat your first meal at 11 a.m., that's your first meal. That's when you'll take your first set of cleansing supplements. Just jot that down so that you can record and report to us how long your window was. So again, if you're eating 5 meals a day right now, aim for 3 meals a day. Again, add in good fats with every meal. The goal is really just to stop turning on that insulin every time you eat and avoid grazing and snacking all day long. That is too much work for your body to constantly be trying to break down those foods and send all the blood over there, and then you're going to feel the results of it feeling really tired. So you can reduce some of that. You're going to find that you actually will end up having more energy. And then you're going to want to note the timing of your last meal. So you're going to note the timing of your first meal of the day, note the timing of your last meal of the day, and then just take your supplements based on your first and last meal. So for some of you, that might be, your first initial meal is, 12 o'clock in the day, and that's when you can take all your cleanse supplements. If you have a pretty strong, sturdy stomach and you're not too worried about having a sensitive tummy, if you really want to take your supplements with, like your morning tea or coffee or collagen stuff, you can certainly do that. I do it from time to time, but I do recommend that, with foods a little bit nicer on the tummy area. Just want to reemphasize a few things. I know this is going long, but I just want to make sure that you fully understand this. This is not a diet. This is not about counting calories. This is about actually increasing the control and not feeling so restricted in what you do. This is going to give your body a way to pretty much consume and eat what it is that you want to have and burn it as fuel versus storing it. Really important that you understand this. This also is going to take cleansing and detoxification to a whole new level. So if you want to just experiment with this for, the rest of our program, that's a great way to see what you can do and how you can enhance the detoxification. We want you to go gradual. This is just about experimentation. This is not about fail or win. You have to hydrate. You have to add in good fats with every meal. You want to try to replace the need for emotional eating with something else that you enjoy that has nothing to do with foods. I realize sometimes I rely on foods to give me an emotional high or a drink, and this actually has helped kick that back a whole lot. Now I can go and take a detox bath and read a good book. I am not craving those things as much because I feel more steady. There is no wrong or right. So if this doesn't feel good to you, you're not sure, just do what your body is telling you. Each of us is programmed a little bit differently, and everybody's at a different phase and stage in their life. So ultimately, you can get all the coaching and guidance and things from all sorts of people, but you really are your own best doctor. So listen to what your body is telling you. If you need to stop. If it feels good, see what you can do with it. Maybe stretch it. Please just listen. And then you can post your questions or concerns or message me anytime on this. So this tool, my friends, is going to have you regenerate your entire body and mind. It is going to turn over new feelings of feeling good, slimmer, more energetic, better sleep. Your body is literally turning over a whole new leaf when you tap into this tool. Now, my results are probably a little bit different than some of yours, and maybe some of you can relate with me. My results were really profound in the sense that I felt that much better very quickly. I got into, nutrition and natural health about 5 years ago. I made tremendous leaps and bounds in how I felt. I instantly lost about 15, 17 pounds when I went gluten-free. That was a game changer for me. My skin stopped breaking out. I stopped feeling really sluggish in the digestion area. It was tremendous. That was my first layer of peeling back that onion. The second part for me was transitioning into more, good foods and adding in oils and natural supplementation every day, cleansing on a regular basis. That took me to a whole new level of health. But when I did all those things, I still did not feel 100%. Yes, I was healthier. Yes, I lost weight. Yes, my skin was better. Yes, I felt better. But I felt a little stuck in the energy area, feeling very off sometimes hormonally. And my stress levels were quite high. And so I still didn't feel quite 100%. And so when I started practicing this tool within the past year, and, all these other things are, blowing up with the keto and the, fasting and, and paleo, and all those things can be wonderful if those are things that you enjoy. But I was tired of being so restrictive on what I could eat. Yes, I'm still gluten-free, but, I want to enjoy eating ice cream from time to time, and cheeses and wines and, steaks and burgers and things like that. And I was blown away that I could literally use this tool to improve my energy levels, not need a 3 o'clock pick-me-up, not feel stressed out all day long, not be worried about what my next meal is going to be. And I lost a few pounds that I probably needed to lose. And I didn't want to lose much more than that. But what happened with feeling better and kind of feeling closer to that 100%, I'd probably say I'm about 98% to being my best in health, changed everything. This was like the icing on the cake for everything that I worked so hard for. And yet the reward was simply being able to enjoy more of what life has to offer and just be mindful about what my body needs and when to eat. So it was game-changing for me. I believe it's been game-changing for my daughter as well. I actually did not introduce this concept to her. She started naturally doing this concept on her own, I don't think without even knowing what she was doing. She told me she wanted to just eat when she was hungry, and when she was hungry, she ate. So I wasn't worried that she was, having any emotional eating issues. And we cleansed regularly. We, made sure she was getting in good foods, even though she's a teenager and still eats a lot of crap. But I mean, we were floored. Her results with her thyroid and her Hashimoto's antibodies completely gone. She is sleeping better. She's not as anxious. She feels tremendous. So what it can do for people is just really incredible. What it's doing for my clients, I have clients who are losing 4 pounds a week. And they're like, I can't believe this. I can still go out to eat on the weekends. I can, enjoy more of life. I don't feel like I have to worry so much about what I'm eating. It's just a matter of eating when your body needs the fuel and can burn it. So really incredible things that can happen here, my friends. Our goal really is to help you feel good again and know how to do it for life. We want you to have these tools so that you actually don't need us in the long run, that you don't need this, that you can basically go about this in a way that works for you and know that this is a tool that you can either use sometimes or you can use always, and you can fall back on to regenerate anything in your health. There is research that takes this to a whole new level in what it can do for your health. Not only does it help with, regeneration and reducing insulin resistance and helping you, lower your risk of type 2 diabetes. It helps with inflammation in the body. It can be really great for heart health. It may even, yes, I'm going to go there, help prevent cancer and gene expression, things that, are programmed in your body to possibly turn on, not turn on. It may help with, memory and Alzheimer's. It may help you just live longer and feel younger. So overall, when it's done right and you are loving on your body and you feel like you've got a good rhythm going, some really incredible things can happen. So I'm going to leave it with that. I know this was a long one, but it was really important that I share with you all on some really important information and how to do this properly. What I'm going to ask next is that if you have questions, you have concerns, that you please post those questions below the recording here. so that we can make sure we address everyone's questions or concerns before they begin. And then we will decide kind of as a group when to begin and start recording our last meal and our first meal and see how long our windows are. Our windows are going to be different for every single person. This isn't about wrong or right. If you exercise, I'm actually going to caution you to probably not go hardcore exercising in your first few weeks of trying this out, or just don't do the fasting on exercise days. Eventually you'll be able to, but to start, it's not going to work so good. And I think that's really it. I think I've covered a lot here. So love to hear what you think. I know you're probably a little nervous, a little scared, totally normal. Really excited for you guys and see what you can do if you're willing to go there and go to the next level in this. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.